welcome to Season 2 of Collateral Damage. We've got a fancy new battle report for all y'all today. We have some of the up-and-coming meta scares with the Empire of Dusk rolling out, meeting with a bit of a grudgeon on the side of the Rhul Guard. How are you doing today, Will?
Pretty good, Corey. Looking forward to today's game.
Let's heckin' go. This one was a pretty spicy one. There was some real fun stuff on both sides. Do you want to go ahead and get into the lists for this?
Yep, that sounds good.
Let's heckin' go.
All right, so for today's battle report, I decided to bring Tyrus. I've loaded out this battle group with a Dices, a Eidolon with a Dawnblade Force Shield, Force Cannon for some brutal combat, and a Ghast with Arc Node, just to give me some range extension on his offensive spells.
He's got a couple good ones now.
Yeah, Stranglehold being one of them, and I tend to sleep on it for how good it is.
Yeah. Stranglehold against any of the 120 millimeters can give them an incredibly bad day.
Yeah. I've brought 2 Dreadguard Sires to support my general large amount of melee infantry I have in this list. Dices for the damage buff, 2 Mage Hunter Commanders for support, most of the time either giving out Shield Guard or Repo 3 to the Blade Masters or Guardians. Sniper Team for Dispel on a Stick for the most part. A Void Engine to support most of my infantry. The new changes give them a huge defensive buff that is pretty important these days. Yeah, and then standard cavalry, trying out the new Slayers with their changes. I think they have some brawling potential and they're a pretty good value for the points cost. Mage Hunter Assassins now have a pretty good combo with the Sires, especially Tyrus's feet. You can see up to thread extensions of 20 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be pretty terrifying how far they can reach. And then trying out the new Soulless Blade Masters. Really interested to see how much of a punch they pack when they get that flank bonus off. And always got to bring some Guardians to make sure Tyrus doesn't get assassinated by Kane 4.
So Rhul mostly got its changes in the update via not changing. It turns out that keeping Mat 7 on most of your units is kind of nice when a lot of people are getting a lot less accurate these days. On top of that, Gorten being able to cast Boundless Charge now makes him a real threat in a lot of stages of the game. Despite being speed 4 mostly across the board, you can get some crazy distances out with some of the speed stacking that the Rhul Guard has advantage to now. In particular, Invictus can go up to 15 inches with that, which can catch a whole lot of people off guard. It's a very intimidating 15 inches, especially on a 80 millimeter. Core of this list is going to be some Bashers. Thanks to Gorten's Field Marshal, he gives Repo 3. The idea is for them to move up, drop clouds, and then repo behind the clouds, so you can have a bit of a 9-inch cloud wall if you need it on demand. Then you have an Avalancher for an obligatory shield guard and the ability to just kind of knock down sections of the battlefield on demand. I have almost never regretted taking an Avalancher. It's very durable for its points, and it can do a whole lot of work, and is, funnily enough, Power Strength 18 with Strength of Granite, so it can actually do a little bit of work in melee if you have to as well. We have our Siege Crawler, which is my Distraction Carnifex, and then we have our obligatory infantry, with always starting with a double Forge Guard, and the TAC are crazy. Like, if despite being an Empower unit, casually having POW 13, Blast Damage 8 spells is kind of scary on them.
You're telling me?
Yeah, we'll get to that. Well, I can get to that. We played on Fault Line. This is one of the new ones in the packet, and it has a lot of scoring in it, it turns out.
Yeah, it can be a real big swing of a turn if the setup's appropriate.
Yeah, the ability to have unlimited scoring on just about anything can make for some really aggressive plays because, as you can see, there are 6 scoring elements in plays, and if you can score any number of those at once, then you can really start to pull ahead. If you can start collapsing the flank, it can go fast. It can go fast. So you kind of have to apply board pressure just about everywhere, be heavily responsive.
All right. So we rolled off. Ended up winning that roll off. Chose to go first, and Corey elected that side of the board. Started deploying. With a large obstruction to my right and left, I decided to deploy most of my forces center with some mage hunter assassins on the flank. And then cavalry on the other flank. I was a little worried about these forest positions and giving him a scoring advantage.
Here we heckin' go. So I went ahead and I chose this side that you can see over here. On the left, I have 2 very nice forests to try to shelter me. Tyrus' threat range is roughly infinity, so I was trying to immediately comprehend how much I could offer up on turn 1 while not just losing the game. A whole lot of my priority in this is that if I can survive the alpha here, I think I'll be okay for the rest of the game. But I have to survive that initial alpha feat turn. So I'm trying to stagger myself to plan around playing a heavy scenario game while trying to counterpunch onto that feat turn.
All right, Dusk Advanced Deployment. This army, unlike a few others I've ran in the past, it has quite a bit of advanced deploy units. I have 2 units of Mage Hunter Assassins, 1 on each side, bringing up putting up the Mage Hunter Commander in the center with the Sniper on the left flank. Um, Dusk, turn 1. All right, so we start off doing some pre-measure, and then immediately go into moving some of my units up, getting the order of operations correct on this Mage Hunter Commander. Grant Repo 3 to the Solus Blade Masters, then runs up.
Mm-hmm. This is a very technical list.
On the floor. Yeah, it has a lot of things I have to do before I move my power units, and I definitely need more reps with it.
No, I agree.
It's so much to manage at one time.
It reminds me of old school Minoth almost.
Yeah, which I mean that was my first army. I got into Mark II with Minoth.
Yeah.
So it is, yeah, especially with the choir and everything in the book.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the game. I'm just moving up the assassins onto the flanks, putting them in safe-ish position. I do know his faction can pop off pretty quickly, especially if anything gets inside feet. So I do have to be careful. While the doors may be slow, they are built like bricks and they hit like trucks. So I'll be real wary of the threat ranges.
Yeah, they can do some damage if they connect.
Mm-hmm. So I move the Solus Blade Masters up, do their star action stealth, and then Repo 3 them. I also realized this game that the shield effect on the Void Engine is not a star action. And I played it this game as a star action, which is why you noticed how slow it was moving when it should have been. Everything could have moved 5 inches up on that turn further. So I definitely like shorted myself here, but
I think it's probably mostly fine. I think it actually probably would have been more relevant on the next turn. This turn
definitely.
you didn't want to. Yeah, this turn I don't think you wanted to get much closer than you were, just because of guns.
Yeah, you have a lot of them, and some of those dwarf guns, some of the knockdown effects, or just the sheer volume of fire can be pretty terrifying. I did put Invaluable Resolve on the cats during Tyrus's activation, and then ran them up to a center board position. Just kind of staging for the next turn. I probably didn't ask as many questions as I should have when I was playing against this army, so I was a little bit left to the unknown. But just taking advantage of these forests, trying to keep line of sight to a minimum.
Yeah, not a lot of people have a bunch of reps into Gorten. Frankly, you probably are one of the people who have played Gorten the most, just in general these days.
Yeah, this is probably my 4th or 5th game into him. First one for the Steamroller, though, I believe.
This
or maybe for your second. But yeah, he's I definitely enjoy playing against dwarves. It's a fun game most of the time.
Yeah, dwarves and elves. It's a classic rivalry. And now we'll go ahead and jump into turn 1 for the Rhul Guard. So, immediately off the bat, I am doing some quick thinking. Those Blade Masters are kind of horrifying. I want to see what I can do about them if I can. So, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to spyglass one of them. And then we're just going to start dropping some pie plates on top of them. We're going to shoot with our big gun. And I think we missed the first shot and we don't get a whole lot of blast damage on it. But we try again. And we hit that time. And then we splash around some blast damage. And I'm able to pick up another one of them as well as the UA, which a very nice spiking damage roll there. This changes the math significantly. With that lead unit out of the way, I can move up a little bit more. So I start going ahead and doing my dumb cloud wall garbage with these bashers, just to limit options for charges. Mage Hunter Assassins really, really like to charge. They get a lot of that charge dice. So I just want to make it so that if they're going to get onto them, they're going to have to walk. After that, we are then trying to then decide what I can afford to sacrifice. Gorten is going to have to move, otherwise I'm just not going to be in a threatening position to defeat at all this next turn. So I go ahead and tuck him in there and then just try to get him to a spot where he is not going to get evaporated. After getting him set there, we are then going to move up and set our Avalancher up. This Avalancher is going to intentionally be in range of his heavy. I figure his heavy is probably going to kill the Avalancher when it goes in, but I'm not super averse to that. Notably, I have a lot more things that can score the 50 millimeters than he does, so if I can start the piece trading with that, it's okay for me to give something up, since I can eventually start outscoring him later. That done, we're then going to go ahead and do some measurements on those Mage Hunter Assassins, figuring out what we're going to feed them. Invictus is going to hang just behind the Avalancher, so it'll be safe. That hill is very finicky, but we got it on there. We go ahead and then cloud and move back. Once again, if those Mage Hunters want to get onto that Basher, they're not going to be able to charge it. They're just going to have to smash it honest. They can, however, charge these dwarves. I don't super care if they charge my Hammer Dwarves. That's fine. I will trade 3 Hammer Dwarves for 3 Mage Hunter Assassins every day of the week and twice on Friday. Going to go ahead and fan out our Tactical Arcanist, and then we do Desperate Pace on our other unit of Hammer Dwarves and start running them. My goal here is to force him to choose between either sending his Mage Hunter Assassins after that yellow unit of Hammer Dwarves, or actually do meaningful work in the center. If he sends them after the Hammer Dwarves, then I have pulled a unit all the way over there that I don't have to think about anymore, and if he doesn't, I'm basically going to take that objective up there for free.
All right, this turn 2. Okay, so it looks like dwarfs are back on the menu. So I'll start assessing what I'm going to be able to pull here with Abyssal Gate, get some extended threat, what I'm wanting to commit. He did a real good job at minimizing my charges and kind of controlling where I can go, even with Ghostly. And these forests limit some LOS I'm needing. That's just a trade-off. So we'll start with upkeep IR, allocate 2 to the Eidolon. Feed is freezing for me.
Gosh, that feat is so good.
Yeah, so I activate Tyrus. I feet, spend a little bit here moving everything forward. Also making sure to stay within shield guard ranges.
If you want to be protected by your shield guard, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications to stay tuned on all our battle reports.
There I am. I'm boosting on the Abyssal Gate.
Yep. Because while solid ground stops just about everything, it does not stop places.
Yeah. I've at least in our local meta, I've run into a lot of can't be pushed or whatever. So starting to rely more on placing for threat extension rather than drags or whatever else.
And now it is harmed.
Yep.
Cannot believe we microaggression my avalanche.
Yeah, we throw Kiss on the Avalanche. It's going to give it that +2 damage, punch through the shield. And then charge in with the Eidolon. The main goal here is to remove some of the threats, as well as position to hopefully not have him completely dominate the scenario with how his feet works. I have very few sources of anti-push available to Tyrus. So this is it is worrying. Yeah, you have to lean pretty hard on it, which is hard when you don't have large
one
units
place at once.
Yeah. But the Eidolon lands a few. Yeah. The Eidolon did some solid damage. So the sires are pretty much putting up just stir the blood at this moment, trying to buff things up before I throw them in.
I'm feeling pretty good at this stage. I expected to lose the Avalancher, but if I can trade both of his jacks for the Avalancher, that feels good to me.
Yeah, didn't do my order of operations as well as I should have, and I probably should not have engaged that Avalancher like I did, but I really needed to get objective presence.
It's true. You were kind of in a bad situation there, just because if you ignore the Avalancher, it was going to do Avalancher things.
Yeah. And I've seen what your army can do if you let it do its things.
Yeah. I'm particularly happy at this point just because the only thing that's going to be able to get on my battle engine now is the Mage Hunter Assassins, so I might get 2 turns out of my battle engine.
Yeah. Mage Hunters are pretty solid at removing stuff. They can be pretty terrifying with like Stir the Blood, Kiss of Lilith.
It's true. But it's armor 20. They're still dice -9.
Yeah.
What are the chances they do 40 boxes to it? We're okay.
It'd be dice -8, but but that decapitation will sneak up on you.
I don't believe in decapitations.
So
I think that's the exact point where you decided that you just weren't going to look at those dwarves anymore.
Yeah, the rolling wasn't hot there. Nothing much happened.
Dice off of 9 is rough. Like,
Yeah.
the hammer dwarves are not crazy durable, but they're just durable enough where, like, it's hard to just kill them trivially sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that wants them dead will kill them, but incidental shots can sometimes bounce.
For sure. And so here we go. I decided to throw the Mage Hunters in. Hopefully they can take this out. This is a pretty strong, like, force projection. And then I roll a few 6s, which
Just
are
one or
pretty
two.
good. Pretty solid when you're playing them.
I think the 3 Mage Hunter Assassins at this point do, I want to say, 37 points of damage to that.
Yeah, they almost
engine.
killed it. So then I move up and boost a shot on it from the Void Engine to hopefully finish.
It might live. It might live. And it does not live.
So that was a little bit of relief for me there. Especially because the rest of the turn hadn't really gone exactly how I wanted it. I'd mismeasured some threat ranges.
No, if that battle engine had gotten to do a full another round of shooting into your army, it was going to be rough.
It would have been rough.
You were positioned.
Yeah, so then I decided just to commit the ones on the right to killing a few dwarves. And I'm hoping that between being incorporeal and defense 14, that I'll be able to survive whatever he can clap back.
You thought real hard about where you were going to put the cats there.
Yeah.
I think you ultimately made the right call. I think you were thinking about trying to keep them over there for scoring or to rush them in to stop Invictus from going wherever he wanted. This is probably going to be feat turn for us. We go ahead and upkeep all of our spells. Gorten has solid ground up and Strength of Granite on one of the bashers. Magnus is going to give a single focus to Invictus. And then we're going to just start going. We go ahead and move with our Hammer Dwarves first. They get Desperate Pace from the old Stone Lord and are going to jump straight onto that rude baby who tried to shoot them earlier. This, coincidentally, will also put them scoring. They throw some attacks into him. And with Mat 7, they're able to get the one hit in they needed. And he's got paper armor. How 11 Weapon Masters do the real work. I go over here, and then Will kindly reminds me, oh, hey, those Mage Hunter Assassins are incorporeal now. And I go, well, crap. We're going to go ahead and I then go, okay, we'll deal with that later. We move up with our TAC, and we start dropping some fireballs. They get within stealth range, and then just start popping some things off. Turns out that they are fairly lethal, and all they really need is one hit to start splashing that POW 8 blast damage around. Mage Hunter Assassins, it turns out, not the highest armor, and will frequently die even to that. One of them is left at this point, so we're just going to move one of our bashers up, throw a boosted melee into it, and then repo the heck out of the way. Now we start assessing the rest of it and decide what we need to do first. I think this is the point where I go, well, it's probably time to start trying to clear off this. So our Hammer Dwarves just run, so they are not going to be in the way anymore. Then we're going to be moving our other TAC. They move their 4, and we place around to get into some good angles. Then they start going to drop some fireballs. Hopefully clear that other unit out as well. We start rolling. Get some whiffs, but even with a whiff, blast damage can pick them up.
Yeah, they're pretty squishy. That's my only complaint about them is how easy they die.
Yeah. We leave one of them alive, but on fire. Then we just start looking at what I'm going to be doing with that basher. Then we put him in there and just have him blow up a cat. Or try to put some damage on one. Then just repo closer so it can continue to contest. That all done, we are starting to assess the point where we are going to feat.
Part I'm most worried about.
As you well should. I go ahead and move him right in there. We're going to catch a good chunk of the center here. And we just start pushing everything back. We declared 8 inches. We pushed the jack first because I still wanted to be able to charge it. Then we just began to moving everything else back and away. Gorten's feat is particularly brutal. For those who don't know, I get to pick one of the table edges. It can be the left, right, top, middle, whichever, as long as it's a table edge. And then I can choose a distance up to 8. You are then moved that distance towards that table edge. In addition to that, you also suffer -3 speed and -3 rat and -3 defense. You can also no longer charge or declare trample power attacks or slams. It can be very, very rough for just holding someone in place for a while. Gorten got the hit and run card, so he could he charged in, feeded, then moved backwards. Then we went ahead and threw our Strength of Granite Basher right into the mix. Got it to a position where it could contest very nicely over there. And I'm feeling pretty good about this. A good chunk of his army is going to be locked behind there. We're just going to have Invictus stay right where it is and just try to kill the rest of these cats. I believe I put Blessings of the Gods on him just to try to make it happen cleaner. I do unfortunately take a little bit of Spring Blades damage just from tough rolls, but overall we're able to get those cats back away from us right where we don't want them.
Yeah, the goal is for them to hold you there.
They succeeded.
Yeah.
Couldn't push them with feet, so they just got to live right in front of Invictus and made him waste time fighting the cats for a full turn when he would have loved to be doing interesting things. But still, we're able to get some scoring going, as well as kind of punish Will into a kind of a dicey situation for turn 3.
Yeah, the setup you have here for scoring going into it's pretty solid, so I have to really make sure I can keep my objectives open and yours contested, ideally.
Yep.
Dusk, turn 3. Okay, so he removed quite a bit of my hit and back power against his high toughness. Or armor, sorry. And at this point, I'm like, okay, how do we do damage control? How can I start the pullback scoring while still killing the units I need to kill? So looking through some rules because I'm trying to do something technical here. Doing some pre-measuring. I do need to either hold up or finish off Invictus. He's got Thresher and I've got a lot of models still. So I know he's been savoring for that.
3-inch Thresher is a hell of a drug.
Yeah. So Dices removes the fire and applies Kiss to Invictus. Hopefully soften him up. Tyrus then puts Feedback Loop on the Basher. I had this idea of, well, what if I can threaten Gorten with just taking feedback damage over and over again? I have a high volume of attacks available. And I was doing the math, and I didn't have many other options now that we were looking at it to, how can I save scoring? So I decided to go for a little bit of a makeshift caster kill here and just hope that I can hit and damage enough to trigger enough of those to either set your caster up for a kill or something. But it was a ton of attack.
Super did not love that. The moment you cast Feedback Loop, my brain started doing some math, and I went, "Oh no!"
Yeah, it was a long shot.
You
but
did a lot of feedback.
It technically was possible. Yeah.
I think you dealt a solid 10 feedback damage this turn. You're moving things up, you're getting the good swings in, and you're putting in that chip damage. But Gorten has 18 boxes, is the problem.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a beefcake.
They don't call him
But yeah.
Beefcake Gorten for nothing.
Yeah, I throw our Guardians in. They have a high
environment.
volume of attack. I stir the blood on 'em. Even throw the Void Engine in, just trying to get rid of it so I'm able to score these objectives. And with my last shot, I use the brutal damage on the sniper to try to finish it off.
I'm almost surprised it didn't die earlier, frankly. I almost would have preferred it to have.
Yeah, it tanked a lot. More than I expected. I pretty much started throwing the kitchen sink at it because I didn't have much of a choice.
Not being able to charge didn't help, but...
Yeah, that feat is devastating, and I think I let a few too many models get caught in it.
Especially for melee army.
Yeah, and it definitely blunted the blows I could do. And as you can see by Corey's phone there, it's almost a block of red.
Yeah. I think it ends with 3 boxes left, maybe less.
Yeah.
Which again, it got you a good chunk of damage on Gorten. It was almost the ideal feedback loop rolls because you were doing like 1-2 damage in there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I start to shift more into damage control here.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this ain't happening. Let's see what points I can make back before I pass the turn. Keep from losing. So I've at least got to contest everything. And I think I've set everything up for that.
It's true.
As much as I could.
Yeah. I think the only thing you haven't moved yet is the assassin. I think you did put the fires out on her so she didn't just evaporate.
Yeah. Didn't have much of a choice.
No, you needed the contesting model. Yep, put her in the worst spot, contesting both of them. 3-inch reach is real good.
Yeah, trying to get as much value as I can out of that last surviving dude.
And there it goes. All scoring is stalled.
Yeah, it wasn't the turn I necessarily wanted, but it's what I ended up with.
So I would like to do the big score this turn. The feat stopped a lot of things from hurting me, and basically only lost a basher and a hammer that turn. So we're going to go ahead and move up with our TAC and then just start blasting. Doesn't really matter if they hit or not. Between 3 of them, blast damage is going to pick it up. After that, we then just kind of fit angle around so we can score both of those. And that is 2 points off the bat. Go us. Invictus got 2 focus from Magnus, and now he is going straight in. He's going to do a Thresher. This is going to end up killing my Basher, but I don't super care anymore. This hilariously does a point of damage to Magnus because Feedback Loop doesn't care who does the damage, it turns out. But we will then go ahead and just start cycling through there. Our big priority is killing that Ghast. Once that Ghast is down, then the only thing that's going to be able to score either of those is going to be Tyrus himself. and Tyrus probably does not want to be that close generally.
Yeah, he still has pretty victim-ish stats.
He's
I feel for how
durable,
big
but
he
he
is.
doesn't want to be in bashing range.
Yeah.
We go ahead and give combat coordination to our hammer dwarves over there, and they're just going to go move over here and then just start hitting stuff. This gives them a reroll if they need it. Their big priority is just to clear out the things that are contesting over there. Which, even with tough, we're able to kind of start pushing through damage. Weapon masters at Mat 7 are a hell of a thing. We are then going to make sure that we're scoring both of those. So now that's 4 points. We then just have to clear out these contesting models, and I think that we're going to be able to do that. We have our Basher over there that can get in there. We have Gorten moving into a nice safe position. To further emphasize this, we are then going to Cloud Wall on top of him, just to make it so he's not going to get shot or spelled either. While the other one of them just go ahead and shoots off a spell, and we'll be able to pick up a dude. Just to make this a little bit easier as we go in. Thinning out attacks is also very relevant here. Magnus is going to shoot out a rocket launcher. The less attacks he has, the less I have to worry about feedback loop doing those last 8 points of damage. Magnus is incredibly far back just because I am terrified of Magnus dying at all times. Whenever I play Invictus, Magnus is going to be as far behind Invictus as he legally can be. We're going to go ahead and then just pull in our Bashers, get them in some nice positions with Repo, enough to threaten, but not enough to get threaded. And then we look over the board, and we're pretty happy with where we are. Do a little bit more finagling because I'm indecisive. And then we call it there. I get to score 5 points that turn.
Yeah, it was a big swing. I wasn't prepared for that. I knew it was going to be a big point swing, but not that level.
Being able to score everything here is so many points.
Okay, so Dusk turn 4. My options here are pretty limited. I don't have a ton of activations, and action economy is low right now. So I start planning out how I can keep the game around and for me to just not lose on my turn. I do have some options if I can pop off here and
there's definitely a very specific way dice rolls can go for you to stay in this.
Yeah, like it's possible, but it's on the low chance of it happening. I threw around quite a bit of numbers, talked about it, and just started rolling.
At the very least, these poor dwarves are having a real bad day now.
Yeah. Slayers charge in, they kill a few of them, but not enough to pull them off the objective. So here I'm sitting here seeing how I can salvage this. Thinking that if I can remove most of what's in the center with what limited resources I have, I can pull him from scoring and hopefully maybe stay in this game. But it really depends on what my Mage Hunter Commander and Tyrus are going to do in the center.
Tyrus does go in himself.
Yeah, I commit him to hopefully picking up Invictus. He is somewhat of a beat stick, albeit not an incredibly hard-hitting one, but he can. Losing Blood Boon reduces it on... Or losing Flashing Blade really drops like his total lethality, but in here it didn't really matter, just going into Invictus.
What is his What is his power and strength after harm?
For Kiss, 17.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, like I mean, he can with an arc of 8, he can definitely throw down some heat if he needs to. But I really should have, I think, relied on Stranglehold more in this game. I think instead of trying to tie you up with models, I could have just reduced your action economy without having to trade pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have high armor, so even at PAL 13, you typically have to boost. It's still not a guarantee, and that's a lot of focus to commit to something that might not happen.
Agreed.
So I used the Void Engine to finish off Invictus. So somewhat of a moral victory. I at least got to kill the centerpiece model that was causing me some heartache in this game.
Invictus goes down.
Yeah,
But yeah, not a lot else can get done in the end, and 7 points is a lot.
Yeah,
Still a very strong game.
Yeah, I couldn't do what I needed to do, but it's how it rolls. And it was a great game, close one. I really enjoyed it. Me and Corey always have good games.
Agreed. I very much enjoy playing against your Dusk. And this was a fantastic practice for both of us, because I don't think either of us had played the new scenarios here. This is our first time on Fault Line, and oh boy, is Fault Line real live.
Yeah, that is definitely gives control armies some advantage, which is pretty important, I think, in the upcoming year.
No, yeah, I agree. I like that there's a whole lot more emphasis on first or second for scenarios like that. Like, I legitimately think that going second for Gorten is an advantage there.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can have huge swings, keep them pushed out. I think what really hurt me this game was unpacking, but like a few more reps, and I'll have it down. But I'm excited to see what Tyrus can do in this edition.
Dusk is an incredibly technical army. It's just one of those armies where you're gonna have to have a whole lot of reps in it, especially now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But if you can get everything singing, I think that it's gonna be pretty terrifying. They might be the faction that I think I might be most scared of this year.
Yeah, I definitely think they got a lot of good changes in the Steamroller. I mean, sure, they got the accuracy reduction on some of their things, but they still have quite a bit of Mat 7 available, and on units that are pretty lethal.
Agree.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this battle report. Don't forget to join us next time on Collateral Damage.